Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Desk to Destination. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Rose, and hang on, let me go find Paul here. Give me a second. Let's see, where is Paul at? Oh, there he is. Ooh, nice shades.
Yeah, I have a
Is it
good
just really
friend to
bright
thank.
in your place there in Mexico,
Yes.
or are you just, trying
No,
to channel Ray Charles or
well, these
hey,
are
oh,
the subject of the day.
yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about the
Uh,
Viture glasses. I had a pair, lent them to Paul. He loved them, and sadly, it gave me a good
I
excuse to go buy the
refuse to
latest
not give them
version of
back.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, to give them back. But
Mhm.
these are a game changer, and I want, especially, I think, for travelers.
Exactly.
Microsoft came out with HoloLens, and there's Meta, and I have the Meta stuff and all that, but it's big and it's clunky and it's limited, and the Apple one just makes you look like I don't know, can we say douchebag on the show?
Yeah, I would say that. That would
Okay,
be pretty
yeah,
much exactly the phrase I would use. Yep.
yeah. I think the ultimate thing is to see somebody
Yeah.
wearing their Apple HoloLens
You want to
while
walk by and be like,
hands-free
click.
driving a cyber
Yeah.
truck. I think that
Yeah.
would just be the ultimate sort of thing.
Yeah. The nexus of all douchery.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yep.
in looking for a good solution, I saw an ad on these, and I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, you know what? I'll give them a try. And I absolutely fell in love with them. So, Paul, as someone who is new to it,
Yep.
talk about what they do in your experience, and then we'll talk about the differences between the model that I have
Yeah.
here. So
Right.
I'll put mine on, and now I can
Well,
look silly and ridiculous too.
I mean, as an industry or whatever, I think we've been pushing towards some kind of AR, MR, XR, VR, whatever headphone, no, headsets, glasses, whatever, right? So obviously the dream is something smaller, lighter, etc. I think one of the problems with the bigger platforms, whether it was HoloLens and mixed reality back in the day with Microsoft or all the stuff Google's done over the years, the MetaQuest stuff too, is it's these are big platforms and there's all this stuff going on and they're busy
Right.
and there's just a lot. These glasses act as just another display on your computer. They act like any other display you might connect. So if you have a USB-C display, you plug it into the port, get a second display. You can project the same thing you see on the main screen. You can extend it. You can do all the different things you can do. So that's why it's valuable to me, and I think why it would be valuable to a lot of people who travel a lot because you're jammed in a plane, perhaps in a economy seat. God help you. The
Yeah.
person in front of you has jacked the seat back, so it's right here.
Yeah.
You can't really work on your laptop or get anything done. And this gives you a way to put the display here. It's, I have a hard time understanding the size, but I was in my living room back home looking at my TV, which I think is 58, 60 inches, something like that. And it was basically the same size
Yeah.
from 6 feet away
It's about
to me.
48-inch to 50-inch, yeah, like
Yeah.
looking at a 50-inch TV. But it
Yeah.
is wherever you look,
Right.
and that's
Yes.
what's really cool. So if you're looking up, you're looking
Yeah.
side, whatever, it
Hmm.
follows you. And then
Right.
the glasses have two things that I love. Number one, they have little dials on top,
Yes.
and I wear glasses, and you can actually adjust them for your myopia, so I can see clearly with them. Um, and they have a
I,
feature where these lenses can darken or lighten automatically. So you can put them into
right.
a all black mode so you don't see anything, or kind of go clear. So when somebody shows up, like, hi, can I get you something to drink, etc., you can see them without
Yeah.
having to take them off. I like to take them off, it's fine. These are the newer Pro version. And what I
Hmm.
love about these is that they actually support three screens.
No way.
So I can be in a hotel room working, put these on, and
Hmm.
have three full screens that I'm
Jeez.
working with,
That's
similar to my
amazing.
setup at home. And you can put them like two and one or whatever
Hmm.
kind of configuration you want. They
Right.
also have audio built in, but the problem with it is on a loud airplane, it
No, you
doesn't
don't.
really work
Plus, you don't
very
want to
well.
broadcast sound out to the world, right? And
Right.
people around you would, if they could hear it over the plane, they would. So,
Yeah, and what I do is I connect my earbuds either to the laptop or iPad. I use these with my iPad as well.
hmm.
Just connect that, and then I'm getting that sound in there. They also have an app called Spacewalker, which
Right.
turns into kind of a remote, and you can go to YouTube,
Hmm.
things like that. But the thing that I really like is the newest version supports Apple's spatial
That's right.
video, and I actually tried it, and it works really, really well. You can actually sort of see it. And then I bought this little adapter, which it's
Yes.
kind of hard to see, but it's got
Yeah,
uh,
it's
the glasses go in here, and then power goes in there.
right.
So I'm not drawing power from my laptop. I could just do it directly, or
Or device, right?
daisy chain or device. Yeah,
one of the important things about this to me is it works with everything. It's USB-C based. There's a
right.
USB-C cable that the end is kind of a proprietary MagSafe type thing that
Yeah.
plugs into the end of the glasses, but the other end is just straight up USB-C, and it works with phones, tablets, etc.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
clips on in the opposite direction you'd think, just like that. So it's magnetic and it clips right on, which is great. And
Hmm.
that's it. But you can actually buy additional little adapters. So what I wanted was a longer USB-C cable. So I
Mm,
bought this, and now I
okay.
can plug it in and use a 6 or 9 foot USB-C cable when that
Oh,
is something that makes
yeah.
good
So this
sense,
must
because the
be
one they give you is only about three
three.
feet, I
Yeah,
think.
3 feet. Yeah.
And it seems to be that way.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
So
I just think it's neat.
yeah, it has very much changed how I work. And the other thing I like is, let's say you're watching a movie like John Wick.
Mhm.
Not something you probably want to have everybody around you watching
Yeah.
him kill people with a
Yeah, kids are walking
pencil
down
and all of
the
that.
aisle and looking at the screen, and it's like, "Ooh,
Can
sorry about
get
that."
a little crazy. Hang on,
Mhm.
my there we go. Um, And what's nice is I can start that movie, close my iPad, and just watch it to my
That's
heart's
right.
content, things like that. And they're not that heavy. They have a little bit of weight to them, but they're not that heavy, and
Yeah,
they fit really nicely into the case. So you're not bringing a ton more stuff with you. You're bringing nothing that's not much larger than like a normal sunglass case.
right. By the way, I have to tell you, I did
Yes.
I played Call of Duty with this thing just to try it. So I
Yeah.
plugged it into a laptop. Um, it worked great. It impacts the frames per second by some small percentage, but it's also lower res and all that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
the clarity is pretty amazing. The only thing I found a little disconcerting was, if I'm sitting in front of a laptop like this playing a game, I don't realize I'm moving around. I guess so. Maybe I'm doing this. I
Yeah.
don't know. And when you're wearing it, you're doing that with the screen. So I had to be like, okay, you gotta
Ah, I
stay
didn't
still,
even
stay
think
still.
about that.
I don't know,
Yeah.
neither did I. It's like one of those things you don't realize till you do it.
Yeah, it supports, also, the new, not Game Boy, what do they call it? The Nintendo, the
Oh, the Switch
Switch.
too.
It
Yeah.
supports the Switch
Hmm.
1 and 2. I use it with my Stream Deck, which I absolutely love. So, you can go out to the Viture website, but here it is on, Amazon site, which, is where I got it. They actually have a
So
better
this is
deal. It's
the new one,
3.99.
right?
This is
The
the new one. It is 390, sorry, 459. They're selling it for 359. I
mhm.
bought it for 399. And they
Okay.
have bundles where you can also get it with this USB-C phone pack. That's that adapter that I
Yep.
showed you. They
Yeah.
also have something that's like a Bluetooth kind of neckband slash um,
You
a
got a
speaker
dongle
thing that you
basically.
can
Yeah.
also get, but yeah, I don't think that you really need it. But this is the complete one. They have a new one that has some cool new neon on the side. I don't need to advertise that I'm using this thing to everybody, which is just fine. But yeah, I it's a really kind of cool experience as you start to play with it and
Mhm.
use it, and I absolutely love it. And it's become one of those things that I absolutely, love to have on a flight, really rely. You can even use it with your phone. So if you're watching
Yeah.
videos, but down here, you sort of get an idea on what it looks like with that three screens. And that is pretty accurate to
Hmm.
what that looks like for me using three, or for Paul for the one up in the air. And it is pretty cool. It supports VR video. So if you're watching VR videos on
Hmm.
YouTube, or you're creating them on the iPhone, you can use that. great for watching movies yourself, things like that. And like I said, it really gives you some privacy, which I
Yeah.
really, really like too.
And
So
the ability to kind of deal with if it's a long haul flight or like I said, just a a bad seat basically
crowded,
where
yeah,
you're stuck in there and you can't really get stuff done, but you can fire up a video, whatever, and just you can leave the laptop kind of just barely open if you have to, so you can pause whatever. But it's yeah, it's really neat. Like it's you described it to me early on, I think in terms of the Steam Deck, and I was
yeah,
like, man, there's the two things I do not have, and I need to think about this. And you were gracious enough to lend me and then give me the first pair you had, which are wonderful, like really really nice.
yeah. I was playing the reason I bought the Steam Deck was there were a few games on PlayStation I wanted to play, specifically the
Hmm.
Spider-Man game, because people just loved it and people said it kind of reminded them of the first two Batman games, which were great, and then it got
Hmm.
crazy
Yeah.
and out of hand. And I'm like, I want to play this, but I don't want to go buy another home system. I could do this. And what I love is, and I'll show this to everybody. This is pretty cool. I got a dock, and I'll unplug it here. And I can plug this into my monitor or whatever, but I found this little dock. So this actually plugs into the top of my deck, and then it's got all the ports here in the
Yeah.
back,
Hmm.
and I can actually, and it sits in this, which is really, really nice. This is from Anker, of course.
Hmm. Of course.
And I just plug it
Yep.
into my monitor, and I've got a big 49-inch monitor, so I can play it here, pick it up, it charges it, it does all of that. If I want to plug it into the big TV, I can do that. And then adding the glasses to it just really created this really neat element. But for me, it's really the privacy. I don't like advertising what I'm watching or doing and just want to be able to do that.
Right.
And allowing me to be a little bit more productive
You don't
without
you don't
just
just
looking goofy.
you don't just watch Disney
Or
movies on the plane, you know.
yeah,
It's
it's a
just
chance for me to catch up on, yeah,
yeah,
exactly, on the stuff that
those
I like
movies
in the
that your wife
series.
is never going to want to watch or whatever, you know.
And speaking of watching movies on the plane,
Hmm.
the other thing that I wanted to share, and we kind of alluded to this, was this. This is a device called AirFly. This is actually a knockoff AirFly that I found and I liked it more because it actually has a LCD screen. We briefly talked about it in one of the previous shows, but
Hmm.
this plugs into the audio of your plane seat, and you can then use your own wireless headphones or earbuds. Or with this one, and this is what I liked about this one, two different people can log into the same device and
Right.
listen and watch something on your screen or in your whatever, on your iPad or whatever it is that you want to share. And
Hmm.
I love that because even unless you're in first class, they give you the crappiest earbuds.
I know.
Um, yeah, and even if you bring your own, it's still so loud on the plane,
I know.
it just makes it difficult, and this is a great
Hmm.
way to use the ones you're doing. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of earbuds or headsets or whatever do you use when you're flying? And I thought I would share mine as well.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people I've gone back and forth over the years, it is crucial to have noise canceling something on a plane. I don't
Yes.
know, flight attendants and pilots, whoever works on a plane. I think they're damaging their hearing long term. They're
Oh
going to have
god, yeah.
tinnitus and whatever else. But it's shifted over the years. I always had Bose headphones back in the day. Actually, it was Mark Razinovich at Microsoft, I'm sure, who
I
showed me
do.
the first pair of, they were wired at the time, but Bose noise canceling earbuds with the little
Yes.
flat piece, remember? I
Yep.
went through all that. These are the second gen. I think we're on 3 or 4 now of the Bose completely wireless
Yeah.
earbuds, noise canceling earbuds, Quiet Comfort, whatever the name,
Yeah.
and they're fantastic. Um, but earbuds are tough, right? So
Yeah.
and if I'm using an Apple device at the time, an iPhone, like I also travel with the AirPods Pro 2, which are actually a little bit better than those Bose, although that goes back and forth, I'm sure, over generations. But earbuds are tough because they pop out. These are nice
Yes.
because they're white, so I can see them if in a dark plane,
Right.
as it kind of ping pongs away. But I ultimately, because of all the trips we do here, and we're in the plane 4 to 5 hours somewhere in there on each trip, and we do this several times a year. I kind of researched this. I didn't get the headphones that were considered to be best overall for noise canceling, or honestly for anything else. But these are the Beats, which is owned by Apple, Studio Pro headphones.
Hmm.
Noise canceling is incredible. Wire to wireless. If you're wired, it does lossless and all that stuff.
Right.
It works equally well with Android and iPhone, which was a big draw for me. Unlike the Apple products where they just pretend Android doesn't exist, or you get some bare
Right.
support. This is full featured on both sides. So no matter which phone I'm with at the time, this is it's a little
It's
big. I mean, it's you.
yeah.
This has to go in my carry on, but every time I put this over my ears, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy that I have it.
So what's interesting is I also had the Bose. I like the
Hmm.
Bose. I think they're good. They're a little pricey, I think, for what you get. I had the over the ear ones, but my
Hmm.
problem is I have
Yes,
a big gigantic melon, and yeah, it
I
pushes
do
in,
too.
and wearing glasses, it
Yes,
makes it even worse.
it
It
also
actually
makes my ears sweaty,
yeah, it's
which
like you want
isn't
Q-tips throughout the
isn't as
flight
much of a
to
problem with these. I don't know why.
no. So I tried those for a while, and I agree with you. The issue I had was I don't wanna have 1 pair for flying and 1 for this and 1 for that.
Right.
So I now use 2 things, and I finally found a pair of earbuds because the Apple ones hurt my ears. I have very
Interesting.
small little inner
Well,
ears,
this
and it hurts. So
yeah,
I
this is a
went
problem.
with the Beats Pro, and I love them. Same thing, I got the neon
Hmm.
yellow because 'cause they're easy to
Yep.
find, and you can use Siri and all the commands with this. So when you can
It's full
say,
featured.
"Siri, text
Yes.
Paul," yeah,
Also has
everything
the
that the
little
Apple
wings that
earbuds do.
help hold it in
And
your ears,
these
which
have
is
the
one of the nice
little
things about
wings.
the Bose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and these go inside of just the
Yeah.
lobe
The
here,
little
so they're
curvature of your ear there.
incredible. Yeah, they're very, very comfortable. I actually have 2 of these. I have one set that I use with a laptop and my iPad. I have this one
Hmm.
that's exclusive to my phone. You can pair it with up to 2 devices.
Right.
So I have that, but then in case batteries run out, I keep a pair of these, but these are the
Hmm.
USB-C ear pods.
Yeah. I
So in
have
case I have to directly plug into the phone or iPad and
hmm
everything's dead.
always travel with a pair of those. I use the Google version, but they're the same thing. They're USB-C based, wired, but
Right.
they always work. Right. They will always
Yeah.
work.
And these are a really good price. Let me see what they are now. I'm kinda curious. I haven't looked in a while, but they were much cheaper than the Bose. Let me see the Beats
Yeah. I
Pro. Hang on,
mean,
I'm taking a look right
same thing with the
now.
headphones. And they all support, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you can you put your phone on, it works. You move the iPad, it moves over. You move to the Mac, it moves to the, it
Right.
just moves between these seamlessly, which is fantastic. But if
These
you
are
don't,
169 in a variety of colors,
hmm
which is great. They do as exactly works with Apple Android. It's a USB-C charging case,
hmm
which I like. It's got the little light at the bottom, tells you when it's charged.
right.
They go up to 199 depending on which model you want.
Hmm.
There's yeah, there's some different slight differences between them, but I love these, and I agree with you. The yellow case is easier to find. It's about the same size. This will recharge these buds twice,
Listen,
and
all you got to
also it shows on your phone how much charge you have left in the case and the buds.
all you got to do is drop one black earbud on a plane and you will
Oh God,
find
yeah.
that religion. You need to get something lighter colored. Like it's incredible how these will find the one nook or cranny somewhere in a seat or plane, wherever on the floor. It's unbelievable.
It is, yeah, and, it's also, again, because these are easier to switch from you can set the buttons for wherever you want, so I have it set for the pass-through, so I can actually
Hmm.
hear when they're calling the plane versus the other one. The button
Right.
is actually pretty responsive, it's actually a little bit of a push, so you get a little bit of
Hmm.
physical feedback, which I like, I don't just like tapping, and I also found that the Apple EarPods were limited in, programming each ear. And I'm like, I just
Yeah.
want this one to move me forward, 3
Yep.
taps backwards, pause, forward. This one, I want to be turn on and off the noise canceling. And if I hold it, it actually, if you hold it, it launches Spotify,
Right.
which I like too, which the Apple
Yep.
earbuds will never do.
No,
So
they will not. I do like
they will
having
not.
you can have different controls on either side or the
Yeah.
same on both, and at least with Bose, and I do like that.
Same with Bose. Yeah.
Yeah, the Beats headphones are don't do that, but they're also bigger, so you have bigger buttons, and it's a little more obvious how things work. I when I move between them, I'm always like, okay, so do I tap it? You know, it's like, what am I doing?
Right, which one does what?
It
Yeah.
takes a second, yeah, to orient, but
Let's see what the current price is for the Bose earbuds. The Quiet Comfort Ultras are now coming in at 299.
yeah, very
So
expensive. I'm
about
sure they're great.
$100 more. Yeah, and there's
Ear,
I think a newer version of them because that I think might be the last gen one. Let me take a quick
yeah, I feel like
look.
there
I
was
think the
Gen
newer
one,
gen
two,
is
three,
more
and then maybe
expensive.
Ultra or 1, 2 Ultra. I don't remember where
Yeah,
they
hang
went,
on, let
but
me see. Headphones. That's what I want. That's the over the ear. And let's do the in the ear. Sorry, it's taking a moment. Earbuds. Yeah, Bose Ultra. Oh, they have the Ultra Open ones. Those are all 299. They're IPX water resistant, etc. And then they have the
mhm,
Quiet Comfort Ultras, also 299. Those are not open. They're not water resistant.
right.
Come in the white, the black, and the blue. They have a lower end version, the Quiet Comfort earbuds. Um,
Yep.
those are 179. So there's some different price points.
Hmm.
But if you like the Bose product, and you like the headphones and you want to go to the earbuds, that's
Yeah,
great. I find the Beats work just as
I
well
do
and
too.
actually have good quality, but it's a personal thing on what you like. Some people like more bass, some people want it where it's better for using with their phone, music,
But it's
movies.
also you
Yeah.
kind of alluded to this, or an example of this, that everyone's ears are different, and some
Yeah.
earbuds are good for some person, but they might hurt you, or they might fall out more easily. You try different tips, you do all this stuff, and then
Yeah.
you never really find any way that it works. So sometimes you just
Yeah.
land on one where you're like, nice. And in this case, I actually had gotten a newer gen version and got rid of it because this one was better for me, just for whatever reason. They changed it
Yeah.
enough that it just didn't work as well.
Made a difference, yeah. The
Yeah,
Apple ones, the problem with them is they keep coming loose in my ears because my
same.
ears are too small, and then the problem is when I go to adjust it, if I'm on a call, every once in a while, I'll hang up the call because they're
Yep.
really
Yep.
sensitive. I'm like,
100%. Because to grab it
"Ah,
effectively, you're touching the part of it
yeah,
that is the control. Yeah.
uh, yeah,"
Yep.
and it would just I'm like, "I'm done, not using these, unless I need the wired ones." So,
I'm glad I'm
uh
not alone.
yes. I also want to thank, and this is not a sponsor, but I do want to
Hmm.
thank Logitech. They've been sending us a bunch of cool stuff. We're actually going to talk about it in our next show when we talk about what we're carrying and what we're using. But I
Okay.
want to thank them. They have sent us a whole bunch of cool stuff, some mice, some
Hmm.
keyboards, different stuff for us to play with. And I'm going to talk about one of the things that I actually purchased on my own that they did not send me that I like, but they just sent me a new keyboard and mouse that is built in Copilot in not only in the keyboard but in the mouse. Some
Yep.
cool new headsets for us to try. But I'm always a big fan of the Logitech products because I think they just do a good range of stuff to find what you want. I'll talk about this mouse. That's one of my favorites. And now with all of them, they tend to do three. You can pair it with three different
Yes.
devices because I go between my desktop and my
Yep.
laptop and my Mac, whatever, and I can just click and go.
Right.
But we'll talk about that. But thank you, Logitech. We appreciate it. Any final words before we click off of this show
Hmm.
and prepare for our next one?
No, I guess not. I mean, I I've been kind of dismissive of the whole AR, MR, AR, whatever wave. Having tried a bunch of different things, but like I said, I think the uh, is it Virtru is Vitru, I guess.
Viture. Yeah.
Vitru glasses are like right there. We go. I think this is,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes someone outside of the platform makers to be like, look, there's a simpler way to do this, and I
Yeah.
really,
And
I
now
just appreciate how simple it is.
yeah. I found them originally on Kickstarter. They've now moved up. They're getting ready to put a camera in their glasses and
Of
some of
course.
those things. And the nice
So
thing
of
is that
course.
won't be yeah, but it won't be attached to Meta. It'll be
Right.
local, whatever. But they make a good product. Their support
Hmm.
is good. They offer firmware. It works with all the platforms. And I agree. I think it's that perfect in between where I don't want to wear this gigantic thing on my head. I'm looking for something that's simple, that actually doesn't look ridiculous, and just allows me to work or play with some privacy in it does it it does it's chosen what it wants to do. It does it well. It doesn't try to do too much. And I think
Yes.
that becomes the sweet spot as opposed to some of the other providers that
And
It's just all over the place.
it is that kind of thing we're always trying to highlight here, which is that it takes away a little bit of the miserableness of travel. You
Yeah,
know,
that's what we're here for.
it's just so important.
I
Makes
agree.
it bearable.
Awesome. So for this episode of From Desk to Destination, I'm Stephen Rose.
Paul Threat.
We will see you in our next episode. And hey,
Yeah.
if you are one of those people using the Big Apple headsets, nothing personal. We'd love to hear if you love them or why and how you've used them.
And how rich
They've
you
not been the
are. And
biggest seller. They just look goofy, but I could be wrong. If you have something else you like, if you're using the Meta glasses or whatever, and you find it does fit a good sweet spot, we'd love to hear from you. So nothing personal, Apple people. I have plenty of Apple stuff. Just
yeah,
that one
no, I
just
do
seems a
too.
little over the top and ridiculous, and it's several car payments. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll wait till they get it down to this form factor, like the
Hmm.
glasses. Then I'm interested. I'm
Oh,
in.
yeah.
When you can get it down to that, I'm
Yep.
all in. But I'm not walking around looking like a Cylon from Battlestar
Or a space
Galactica.
hugger from Alien, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little much.
Yep.
All right, we're out of here. We'll see you in the next
It's,
episode. Thanks,
bye.
everybody.